empowerment for your soul. Today is August the 7th, 2014. I'm Jean Maurie, and my co-creator is Maggie Lukowski. Hi, Maggie. How are you?
I'm most excellent, Jean Maurie. How are you?
Oh, wonderful, thanks.
Well, for today, I pulled the Moon card from the Angel Tarot deck by Doreen Virtue and Radleigh Valentine. And Archangel Nale on this card reminds us to use our intuition and dreams to shed light on any situation. And we might not see it now, but have faith and believe that we'll be shown the way. And the Moon is also about releasing anything we don't want to take forward with us, emotions, old ways of thinking or being, and people. And this Sunday we experience the Aquarius full moon during the Leo sun cycle. So we're being asked to shine the light on who we truly are meant to be, because we are amazing, we are unique. So for the rest of the story, you can listen to my weekly vibes on my YouTube channel, Maggie Moon Tarot, where I give the reading for the week, and I also have some feng shui tips. So wishing everyone an enchanting week. Namaste.
Thank you, Maggie.
You're welcome.
Well, today we're so excited to welcome back the one and only Radleigh Valentine. Radleigh will talk to us about his new book with Doreen Virtue, The Big Book of Angel Tarot. In the book, best-selling authors Doreen Virtue and Radleigh Valentine follow up their work, Angel Tarot Cards, with a definitive guide to the mystical art of tarot, which takes you card by card through the journey of the dreamer in the Major Arcana, explaining all of the magical symbolism found throughout the tarot. You can hear Radleigh on his weekly show, Magical Things, with Radleigh on Hay House Radio, Thursdays at 2 p.m. Pacific Time. Radleigh can be found at his website, radleighvalentine.com. Hello, Radleigh.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Oh, we're so excited to have you with us.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm so excited to be back. I mean, you guys are just a hoot and a half.
Oh, we enjoy your energy, too.
Well, congratulations on your big book of Angel Tarot. It's absolutely fabulous.
Oh, thank you. I'm pretty proud. If you could see me, I'm like half in a blush and half in just a bubble-blowing grin right now. I just love that the people are enjoying the book so much. And, you know, it debuted at #1 in tarot on Amazon. And it's like staying in like number 1, 2, 3 right up there. So we're super. I mean, it's like, and you know, this is kind of like my first book. You know, it's like I've done, you know, 3 tarot decks, but this is my first book. You know, and it just felt differently. You know, and it's just exciting. It's just very exciting.
Oh, it's just wonderful. I just love all the how you've broken it down and, you know, described not only the card but, you know, added the symbolism and talked about the dreamer's journey through the tarot and the angel numbers and the astrology. It just, you know, it just seems to have, and the symbolism is just so interesting too.
You know, it's like I always tell people that, and I say this lovingly, but, you know, I'm a symbolism nerd. I really am. You know, I love this stuff. It's just fascinating to me, and I use it in my daily life so much. You know, it's like I can't get away from the dragonflies right now, you know, and so it's like, oh, got to run home and pull out Animal Speak by Ted Andrews and remind myself all the things about, you know, dragonflies. And so I love stuff like that. And, you know, people were begging for this book. They wanted it. You know, it's not like Doreen and I had this epiphany. It's like we were getting constant requests for, please, I just want to know what all this symbolism means and what all these things, you know, and all the different parts and pieces. And so we tried to write a book that was easy to understand, was accessible, was, you know, so that people could get all the bits and pieces and parts without having to feel like they had to have a doctorate in something.
It certainly is easy to understand, and someone who just starts to get the book and learn how to read it right from there.
Well, and that's what we wanted. I mean, we wanted that for the cards as well. I mean, it's like Tarot has this wonderful history, that's 600 years old, but it's just buried and steeped in mystery and this sense that I've got to study for years and be and take 3 years worth of classes and maybe then I'll start to understand it and blah 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 blah. And so that's why we put words on the cards, to make it easy to understand that you could pick up a deck of Angel Tarot cards or Archangel Power Tarot cards or whichever deck and go immediately start working with them. And to make them for all of the people who love Doreen Virtue's Angel Oracle card decks, to make it to make it feel relatable to them, for them to go, because we had a lot of people who were like, I'm afraid of Tarot, but I love Angel Oracle cards. Well, that just breaks my heart, And so one of the joys of what I do has been to try to take that fear away. And, it's just like there's just nothing anybody can say to me that makes me happier than to come to me and say, I was always terrified of Tarot, but now I'm not afraid anymore. And to me, that's just like bliss. I just love that. That makes me so happy. So, and the book is just meant to further that work.
Well, the spreads are great, too. I just love the Plan B spread. Because isn't that what it's all about? Having that Plan B, that's just a wonderful spread. I was wondering if you could talk about that a little bit, and Plan B.
It's so funny, Maggie, because it's like you never know what people are going to latch on to, and it's like everybody's talking about Plan B. I mean, it's like, I don't. It's what I'm getting all these questions from people, and I honestly think that it's from that there's just a lot of people out there. We've been through this intense Mars retrograde. We've been through Mercury retrograde. We've been through Saturn retrograde. These are really difficult energies to get anything done, and so I think that people have come out of these retrogrades feeling like, okay, I must not be doing it right. And maybe that's why people are so drawn to the Plan B spread. But for your listeners, in the book, there's a bunch of spreads that I created to show people that it's really easy to do your own spreads. And a lot of these came from when I was writing for Prediction Magazine, and that's what they wanted. They wanted spreads every week. And so Plan B is just basically a spread that's for helping people who feel like, okay, what I want isn't happening the way I want it to happen. So maybe there's a different way. Maybe there's a better way. What insight could I get that would help me to understand how to get over this little hump that I'm experiencing? And people, I promised someone on the Certified Angel Card Reader course page that I would do a video, and I've got to do that. I haven't done it yet, but I am going to do it. But I just haven't done it yet.
You wrote that some might ask, what makes the tarot work? And you say it is simpler than people might think. You want to talk about that?
Sure. My favorite analogy about why Tarot works is, imagine a group of friends, and they've gone to the mountains on a hike. And when they get to the hike, get to where they're going, they find a path, and a path that's been well-worn. And that path has been from other people who've been taking that same road, that same journey for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. Well, it makes it so much easier. It greases the way for their journey. And Tarot is sort of like that. It's like hundreds of years of people using this beautiful language of the divine and creating a path that everybody agrees on. And I just have this personal belief that when masses and masses of people all believe the same thing, that makes it become real. And over hundreds of years and the centuries, masses of people came to believe that tarot was real, and that's what made it real. Tarot was created as a parlor game. It's not like somebody sat down and had this great epiphany from God or the divine and said, I'm going to create a deck of cards and their purpose is divination. It was a parlor game. It was like bridge. It's just over the years, people started using tarot as a divinatory tool. There's evidence even before tarot was even created that people were using regular playing cards for divinatory purposes, and so it was kind of natural that people would sort of carry that on. But really, it wasn't even until the 1800s that it really took off as a divinatory tool. But it was because people had come to believe. It's like anything in our lives. If we believe it, it is so.
That's a good answer.
Well, thank you.
And I think sometimes, it's kind of like, the messages that we get, those synchronicities or cledons or things that, a song on the radio or something, when you get when the card comes up, there's something in that card that you kind of latch on to, whether it's a symbol, a color, and that's for you. That message is for you.
Oh, yes, absolutely. That's another reason why I love tarot cards is because there's so much imagery, there's symbolism, in our decks there are words on the cards. There's just an awful lot for the subconscious or for the soul to latch onto and say, oh, this is the part of what's on this card that makes sense. And, you don't have to be a symbolism nerd like I am to read from tarot cards. You don't have to know that a cuckoo bird means something significant that's about to happen in people's lives, but most people know that when you see an hourglass that time is a-ticking, right? So, you can just look at it and go, what does this mean to me? Because I truly believe that the divine in all of us will reach out and look at the cards and what we're meant to see, whether it is a word or a picture or an image. That's what we will see. Doreen is very clairvoyant. That's just her primary clair. And so she's always looking at the pictures. That's where she gets her information. Radleigh's claircognizant. I go to the words. And the symbolism, because to me it's like, that symbolism is thinking, right? It's going, oh, this, then that, then that, then this. So, I think it just depends on where your gifts are, where they lie. And another thing that what I think Maggie said was that, there's, what you see is for you. And that is another thing about tarot that I think is so magical is that you can do a reading for somebody else. And we see this all the time in the classes that we teach, the Certified Angel Card Reader courses that we teach, is people will come to us during class and go, I think I did it wrong. I did the reading and it was all just for me. And, and it's like, no. Almost every reading is also for you. We can't make God small. We can't put God in a box. God, the universe, the divine spirit, goddess, you pick your word, I don't care, is so big, so fabulous, so magnificent that, yes, it can make sure that you're drawing to you people who need your gifts and will benefit from the readings that you're giving to them, but also that you'll get something out of it. Birds of a feather flock together, right?
Yeah, that's true.
If I'm having trouble with finances in my life or something, you can bet I'm going to get people who come to me for readings who want questions about finances. The universe is just very clever that way.
Well, you wrote in about the language of the Angel Tarot and gave us a list, like jumper cards.
Yeah, we just kind of wanted to give people a little bit of the vocabulary, if you will, up front, so that so that as we refer to these things throughout the book, that it would make sense to people. And even some of the terminology, is not even what I would call traditional terminology. It's some of it are words that mean something to us. That, like for example, I came up with the term duality cards. It's cards that have dual meanings. I don't think I've ever heard anybody refer to them that way, but to me, that's just what I call them. And I think Doreen, I don't know if Doreen came up with the term jumping cards. I'd never heard it before I met her, but then there are also, things like significator and querent and pip cards and terms in there that are very traditional top words that just help people know what we're talking about as they move through the book. Again, the book was meant to be incredibly easy to read. It's meant to be not make anything too complicated. There's symbolism. There is, believe it or not, still beyond what I talk about in the book. There's still stuff in there that I could have gone even deeper. It's just sometimes it's like enough is enough.
Yeah. To be overwhelming.
Well, right. Yeah. So.
Radleigh, I saw you on George Norrie's show,
Oh,
Beyond
bless
Belief.
you.
You had 2 sessions, yes, and on Gaian TV. And you did a great job of really explaining, you came on twice on 2 different times, or what I saw it as twice, explaining it, and then you kind of, did some readings for George, and it kind of really made it accessible, maybe to people that hadn't, really hadn't seen it before, gotten the definition, see how it works. Did you enjoy that interview?
Oh, God.
It looked like
George
you were having so much fun.
He was such a sweetheart. He really was. He was such a nice guy. And I didn't know quite what to expect.
Yeah.
Because it's like, and I don't think they knew what to expect from me either, because, George has his coast-to-coast radio show, which is like on 600 and something stations, and millions of people hear it every week, and but it's a radio show that talks about kind of controversial things, and so I wasn't quite sure what to expect, and it was my first time to do television, so I went to the station. And the way George works is that he flies in to do television, and he does like 8 shows back to back.
Wow!
And so I was there in the control room and watching this other guy who he was interviewing before me, and the guy was just, his energy was just really intense. Okay, he was really intense and kind of shrill, and I didn't agree with what he was saying, and I just couldn't take it. And so I just went and sat in the makeup room until they needed me. Well, this gave them the as anyone who's ever heard me before, quite erroneous impression that I'm shy. And so they were telling George, oh, he's really shy, he's really quiet, you're really going to have to talk to him to get him to come out of his shell, blah, 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 and so they put me out there and they turned the cameras on, and of course I'm just immediately my extroverted quintuple Sagittarius self, and I guess everyone in the booth was like, whoa, where'd he come from? But it was a hoot. It's like, I did do readings for George, and some of them were hard. He asked hard questions. It's like I didn't. It's like no one's ever asked me, will there be World War III before?
Oh my God.
And it's like, and I'm sitting there. Cameras rolling. And I'm like, oh my God, he just asked me if there's going to be World War III. Oh my God. But it's like the reading made sense, and it's like, okay, great, no problem. So we'll just keep going with it.
But so what did you say?
The cards. I was actually, you don't know what cards are going to turn up. So I was actually like, holy crap, because I think what was the first card? The first card was like 5 of Fire, which is conflict.
Oh.
And it's like we're having a lot of conflict. I mean, it's like, in retrospect, we did that interview like months ago, and it's like now in retrospect, I'm sitting here thinking to myself, going, okay, I can see, why with everything that's happening in the world right now that we should be concerned that there could be a World War III. I mean, World War I started over a boo-boo, right? So, so it's like there was that, and then the next card was the Emperor. And I was like, okay, that doesn't make me feel all that good either. And the last card was the Empress. And so, I wound, which is a very peaceful, happy, joyful card. And so I just basically said, I see there's a lot of conflict in the world that's showing right here, and I do see that there are people who want to rule, who want to be in control of everything, but there's I see this as a woman who comes to the rescue for us.
Oh my God.
And because this, I just, and this is now I may be getting too controversial here, and I don't know that George liked what I had to say given his audience, but it's like I just think this patriarchal society that we've been living under for so long ain't working. It just ain't. It's time for a matriarchal touch to this. We need a feminine touch to come and take over because we're not getting it right. And and so
I think George has gone away.
Well, he was very nice. He really was.
I think.
Radleigh, have you heard of the You Predict show with Renee Cummings?
I haven't.
Oh my God! You just said what the cards have been telling us for weeks, that there's going to be a feminine change.
Oh, God. Please, God.
Yes.
Please.
If you get scared, listen to You Predict. It's on this same channel on Tuesdays at 4 o'clock.
I really think we need it. I mean, I do. I mean, I don't care what your politics are or who you do or do not like, but we need a feminine touch.
Yes.
I mean, we need someone in here who cares about our kids, cares about, the other, has a softer touch, a more compassionate touch, a more understanding touch. And I don't know how I got off on all of this. I'm so sorry.
We love it.
Oh, I think the divine feminine is a great topic. But anybody can watch the show because, if you go on GuyMTV, they've got all the archives. So that's what's so nice. I've gone back and watched some of Doreen's old vintage things that she's done that they've got on there. So anyone that's interested in watching, they can look at it on GuyMTV. It may be accessible other places.
Yeah, it was a hoot and a half, and they were very nice to me.
It was a fun interview. Yeah, it was a great interview.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Do you use a significant card, a significator? In your reading?
I use significators sometimes. If someone, if it's just so blatant to me that that's what's necessary. I use significators more kind of in a different way than most people do. A lot of people will take what they'll do with a significator card for your audience, in case they don't know, is that's by going through the tarot deck and pulling a card and saying, this card represents blank, represents Susie. And usually it's a court card. Usually it's a card that either resembles Susie or seems like Susie in personality traits one way or another. And then the cards are thrown around that. That might be the first card in a Celtic cross, one of the most famous of all tarot spreads. I don't do that very often. What has happened over time is that I have come to realize that certain cards are certain people in my life. And so if I am doing a reading for myself, and, for example, Queen of Air shows up, well, I know that's my sister, you know, unless it wouldn't make sense for it to be my sister. But, you know, there are certain cards that have become significators for me in my personal life, and I recommend that people do that because, first of all, it's just fun. I mean, it's just fun to go through the cards and go, oh, this is mom, and this is brother, and this is cousin. You know, it's just sort of fun thing to do. But then as you're doing readings for yourself that are about your own personal life, then when those cards show up, it gives you additional information about how perhaps that person or the people in your life are affecting the topic of the reading.
That sounds good. I haven't tried that one before, going through and finding people in my family or friends. To be honest, but way back when, before I started making tarot cards, my favorite tarot deck, and I read from this deck for a decade at least, was the Connolly deck, and it was Eileen Connolly's deck, and it was because it wasn't too scary. I mean, a lot of the spooky stuff was gone, and so that was good for me. I liked it, and I liked the colors. And in that deck, the Queen of Swords looks just like my sister, and so that's how I started doing it. It was before even anybody had even told me what a significator was. I mean, it's so amazing, so fascinating that in tarot or in any spiritual discipline that we can start to pick up pieces, you know, whether it's from our past life or just because we're tuned in and turned on, where we pull things out of those spiritual disciplines and make them our own in our life without anyone telling us that that was meant to be, or you were supposed to do that, or sometimes not supposed to do that. But, you know, we pull those things in. And so I started labeling people in the deck as people in my family before I even knew what a significator was. And then later I'm like, oh, was that what I was doing? Oh, okay.
Well, I like the Queen of Air. That's always represented my mother, and it was kind of the Judge Judy card sometimes.
Oh, my God.
And, because my mother, you know, you just didn't mess with her. She had an answer on the grandchildren. But, yeah, you do pick out cards like that, and that's that person. And I guess, you know, you can look at either side. You know, every card has its, positive and things like, you know, duality that you mentioned of the of the card. But I think you called her the garage sale queen. Was that the one?
We call her the garage sale queen. We do. I mean, affectionately, we call her the garage sale queen, and not to her face. But you know, because the Queen of Air, I mean, she gets rid of anything that doesn't suit her or serve her. Which is, I mean, that's hysterical that you call her the Judge Judy card, because that really does fit. You know, Judge Judy is not a person to suffer fools lightly, is she?
That's what my mother's expression was. But she's a beautiful card. I mean, that card is just gorgeous.
It is. It's a gorgeous card, and it's got some lovely symbolism in it that, you know, that I love, and she really is one of my favorite cards. And you know, some people don't. You know, it's so funny. That's one of the things that is so important to me, is to try to desensitize certain things about people, because it's like, not too long ago I had someone write to me on my Facebook page and say that, oh, they got the Queen of Air and they don't like the Queen of Air. And I'm like, why would you not like the Queen of Air? You know, and it was just something that she had learned somewhere down the road. You know, that Queen of Airs, they're always divorced and they're bitter, or they're, you know, and I'm just like, that's not Queen of Air. I mean, yes, of all the court cards, she's that are adults, she's likely to be single, but so what? She doesn't have to stay that way. She doesn't want to. But you know, I just love going through and taking people and going, okay, you're upset because you got the the Five of Earth. Well, okay, well, let's talk about why would you be upset about that? Because I just basically believe that there are no bad cards in tarot. There are heads-up cards, cards that are basically there to say, oh, my goodness, do you know that you're missing something? There's something great being offered right in front of you, and you're about to miss it. And it's like, well, we can look at that and go, oh, woe is me, I'm missing something, or I'm going to miss an opportunity. Or you can look at it and go, no, you're not. Tarot just told you. Open your eyes. Don't miss the opportunity. Yay, now you don't have to. So, but then I'm a very positive person. That's true. That's just how I see the world. But that's what I like to do, is try to help the world see that this is a magical, wonderful, amazing life. We're meant to be happy. And to the extent that we're not happy, the universe is going to do anything and everything in its power to help us change direction. Now, sometimes that means a bump in the road that doesn't feel so great. Well, let's not curse the bump in the road. Let's go, oh, I must be headed in the wrong direction, and turn around and go in a direction that makes us happier.
That makes a lot of sense. It's hard to read for ourselves, though. We get wishful thinking, or maybe read it in a different way than it's meant to be. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, and I agree with that, that it can be difficult for us to read for ourselves. To be honest, I'm just going to be completely honest. It took me a long time to really feel like when I was reading for myself, that I understood what I was getting. And, my little secrets for myself and for others to try is to, first of all, don't try to do a reading for yourself when you're emotionally charged.
Right.
And, it's just not going to probably work, If you're upset, if you're frightened, if you're in fear, if you're in worry, guess what you're going to see in those cards? Fear, worry, upset, and it's like, I really recommend to people, try not to do readings for yourself when you're upset. Call a friend, go to the Certified Angel Card Reader page. There's people dying to do readings for people there for free, so go have someone else do it. But if you absolutely must, then lay out your cards and then set them aside and walk away until you're not upset.
Oh,
or
while you're upset, and then go away and come back and see what you get?
Go away and then come back and look at the cards when you're no longer feeling emotionally charged.
Oh.
And then look at the cards. Another thing that you can do is if you're having challenges reading for yourself and you're not feeling that you're particularly emotionally, charged, then pretend you're doing a reading for somebody else. Pretend that you're doing a reading for Sally. And if this reading were for Sally, what would you say to her?
Oh, brilliant.
And record it. Use your smartphone to record what you're saying about the reading as though you're doing it for Sally, and then listen to it later.
I'm taking notes. Oh, that's a great idea. Thank you.
You're very welcome. I mean, it's like those are just ways that I find that helps us to be able to do readings for ourselves. After 25 years or something, I really shouldn't have told anybody that, but after 25 years of doing readings, it's like I've come to the place where I can mostly read for myself. I can mostly go, okay, Radleigh, just chill. But, it's also 25 years of what is the positive, what is the positive, what is the positive. It's what I'm preaching. It's what I preach. What is the positive? And so by preaching that, I feel like I've kind of, it's sunk in enough that I can look at the cards and go, okay, don't be scared because ego came up. Don't be scared because release came up. Don't be scared because anything comes up. But it's that whole philosophy that if we are going to accept, if we as spiritual people are going to believe and profess to believe that God loves us, that the universe loves us, that Spirit loves us, if we're going to profess to believe that, then we have to believe that the things that are happening in our lives are meant to drive us towards joy.
Wow.
Just what I think.
I love it.
Thank
you.
And you also, you talk about, with the angels and, I love Walter, that angel. My
Walter rocks, yes.
So you might want to talk about Walter, but I always, I use Walter a lot, too, and I don't know if he's just the Walter angel that you use or it's my dad. But, if we don't ask, we don't get, with the angels or with our, with the divine. It's like putting ourselves out there. Can you talk a little bit about that, asking and,
Sure. I mean, it's like, and you said it exactly right. It's the way my grandmother used to say it. If you don't ask, you don't get. And I had a fabulous grandmother. She used to tell us as kids that when someone gives us something, don't say no, thank you, or don't say, oh, you shouldn't have, or don't say any of those things. You just say, oh, thank you very much, and is there anything else you'd like to give me?
I love that.
Yes, and as impressionable kids, we all took that in. So, but the thing about it is that in working with angels, there is sort of this non-interference code. I love science fiction. So in Star Trek, it's called the Prime Directive, and you're just not allowed to interfere. And so angels want us to ask. They're dying for us to ask. They can't wait for us to ask. They can intercede in life-threatening situations, but for the most part, they're waiting for us to ask. And it's the number one thing we forget to do as human beings. Me included. I'm horrible at it. So it's like we have to stop and say, okay, angels, I would like to have this kind of day today. I really need to get a third of the way through the next chapter of my manuscript, or I really need to finish drawing up the next video class that I'm teaching, or I need to do this, or I need to do this. Please help me. Prayer is magical. It's amazing. And it took me many, many, many years to get over the word prayer because, I grew up in the South, and religion just wasn't a fun thing for me. It just wasn't a fun experience. And so prayer was just emotionally charged word for me. And so I would say my meditations and my thoughts or whatever I wanted to call it that day, but it's still just prayer. And it's like asking your angels for what you want on any given day gives them free reign to help you get what you want. And not everything, it's not like things are going to miraculously appear overnight. It's like we live on a planet where manifestation is not instantaneous. Aren't we glad?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because otherwise that guy that cut us off on the Los Angeles freeway would be dead. All right. We don't want instantaneous manifestation. So it takes a little bit of time for things to happen. But asking our angels helps us take those steps. I always say, seeing isn't believing, believing is seeing. And the more we believe, the more that we are able to manifest in our lives. And so by asking the angels to help us take whatever steps we can in any given day, we increase our ability to believe. And the more we believe, the more we can manifest, the more we can create.
Have you ever had an experience where you didn't get an answer?
That's a really good question, because there's a part of me that wants to say, oh yeah, and then there's a part of me that wants to go, no, Radleigh, you just weren't listening.
Yeah, I hear that.
So there's a part of me that wants to go, if you didn't get an answer, then you weren't listening, or you didn't like the answer, and so that's why you didn't, you thought you didn't get an answer. I do firmly believe that everything happens for a reason. I do firmly believe that the universe has only my best interest in heart. I firmly believe that I am being led towards joy. If I am unhappy, if I am uncomfortable, if I am sad, if things are happening in my life I don't like, then the first thing I do is grumble, and then the second thing I do is hopefully stop and go, wait a minute, Radleigh. What direction is this trying to point you in, and in what way might you be happier if you went there?
That's food for thought.
Sometimes I think I have it a little easier than most. Go ahead.
Yeah, sometimes we're pushed into the discomfort to go and do what we're divinely and called to do.
Well, and the discomfort, I love that word. That the discomfort is we as humans, we fall asleep, right? I mean, we just fall asleep. We've got to get the kids to soccer practice, and we've got to get to work, and we have a project that has a deadline, and there's what are we cooking for dinner tonight, and then there's ballerina practice at 6 o'clock tonight, and we've got to make sure that the kid gets there, and then the dogs need to be fed, and somewhere in there we're supposed to remember to floss our teeth. And it's like it's so easy to get lost in all of that.
Yeah.
And when we're lost in all of that, we're not necessarily being heavenly minded. We're not stopping to think, oh, wait a minute, there is a purpose, there is a reason. And we also forget to make space for ourselves. And
can you give the angels carte blanche to just say, hey, I might forget to ask you today, but we are always there to help me?
Well, I wish. Well, I don't know. I mean, my mentor, Doreen Virtue, says you really need to ask for what you want. So I guess the answer to that question is not quite. I would love it if it was that way, because what I would do after I get off the show is I would give my angels carte blanche for the next 8 years. I don't even know why 8. Why not just for the rest of my life? But I guess they want to be asked on more of a specific basis. So, I think it's perfectly great to say this or something better, or anything I might have forgotten today, please do be with me, or any of those kinds of things. But I do think the angels want us to say, and I do, it's like, Dear Archangel Uriel, give me great epiphanies while I'm teaching this class today. Dear Archangel Gabriel, give me the perfect words to say for everything that I do. Dear Archangels Uriel, Haniel, Jeremiah, and Raziel, please let all of my readings be of value, be of purpose, be of meaning, and really make a difference in people's lives. Let them be of service. I have my little things that I say, and I will have a better day if I pray than I will have if I don't. It's just proven fact to me in my life right now.
So that's for us, not them. Right?
Yes, it's to give them permission. Well, I mean, I guess. I mean, I also believe, and at least this is just my experience of all of this. My experience of all of this is that I also believe that I am going to have a better day if I pray.
Yeah. Okay.
So what am I going to have? A better day.
Right.
You know, it's like I hear Louise Hay say this all the time, because her commercials play before my radio show. But, you know, it's like she'll say something that, you know, along the lines of, she used to get up in the morning and say, oh, crap, another day. Well, she doesn't actually put it that way, but you know Louise. But, you know, I prefer a softer version. So she said, what would she have? She'd have a crappy day, right? And so now she says the first thing she does when she gets up every morning is says, oh, hooray, another wonderful day.
Does she have crappy days?
Does Louise Hay have crappy days? I don't know if she does anymore. I don't know. What is she? She's like 88 now or something, I think. So...
She's amazing. But it's like you said, it kind of turns our dial up, that vibration, when we, you know, just kind of affirm that, you know, this is what we expect our day to be like. You feel different when you say that.
I do. I think it's true. It turns the dial up of what if we affirm that we're going to have a good day, I think our opportunities for having a good day will be greatly, vastly increased. You know, and focusing on a bad day doesn't help us.
True. It just makes it worse.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever have past lives come out in readings?
That can happen. If people want to know about past lives, one of my favorite decks is actually Doreen Virtue's Life Purpose cards. To me, those are fabulous for past life.
Really?
You know, well, yeah, because it's like, okay, you were a teacher in a past life, right?
Okay.
You know, it's like, yeah, it's kind of like, cool. Oh, there you go. But, yes, past life stuff can come out in tarot, absolutely. Past life stuff for me tends to just sort of come more intuitively. You know, it's like I'm doing a tarot spread for somebody, and it'll just intuitively come out to me. Oh, you know what? And you know why you've got this card sitting in this position? This feels past life to me. But yes, and Doreen actually has a deck of past life healing cards coming out with Brian Weiss later this year.
Oh, love that idea.
Yeah, so that's coming soon. I think September, October, something like that.
Ooh, and maybe we can look to pre-order. And what are some of the things, Radleigh, that you're working on about to come out?
Well, I'm very excited because coming out in just 2 to 3 weeks are my Guardian Angel tarot cards. And so this is a project that we worked on for quite a while, and I'm just thrilled with them. I mean, they are absolutely the sweetest, gentlest tarot deck I have ever seen. And for people who really like to have a lot of words on cards, like, you know, there are some people that really appreciate Doreen's decks that have the most words on them, like Messages from Your Angels or Divine Guidance. Those decks have a lot of words on them. And so there's a lot of words, so that's more opportunities for your subconscious or for your spirit or soul to be able to grab something from the reading, but also they're just so sweet and so gentle, and so I keep finding myself grabbing them for readings that I do for people who ask questions that are really difficult, for people who are going through a really troubling, challenging time. But they were really meant to be Doreen and I's one more opportunity to show people that tarot is not frightening, to give them a deck that no one could possibly be afraid of. And so those, I have an advanced deck, so I'm getting to play with them, but they don't come out for another 2 to 3 weeks. And then Doreen and I have my first Oracle card deck is coming out towards the end of the year, first of next year, called Angel Answers. And so that's like, it's like and you know those magic 8 balls?
Yeah.
It's like that, but an Oracle deck. So the artwork is gorgeous. It's by Marius Michael George, whose work is beautiful and very favored and loved in people in Doreen's other decks. And it's like trying to give people yes, no, easy answers to their questions. Not a lot of complication, but making it as easy as it possibly can be. And then after that, we're currently working on Fairy Tarot. So I'm very excited about that. It's doing absolutely beautiful, coming out beautifully. The artist is doing a fabulous job, and I'm very excited about it.
What wonderful project. How about a book on the big book of Angel Power Tarot cards?
We don't know yet. I mean, it's so funny. It's like I did not know this before I really, really got headlong into all these projects, but these things take there's a big lead time for these projects. So I think people wanted to see how the Big Book of Angel Tarot did, and it's doing amazing. It's, a bestseller. So Hay House may ask for that. Don't know. I don't know yet. Doreen and I have 3 other projects lined up after the fairy cards.
Oh, my God.
2 books and another deck of cards, Angels of Abundance tarot cards.
Oh, I have that book.
Yeah. Well, to believe it or not, we started working on the deck before the book.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh. And the deck was actually done. This is little-known stuff. The deck was finished, and we ran into a problem with the artist, and we lost all the artwork.
Oh, no.
And, yeah, so now we're having to kind of start over with recreating the artwork, so it kind of got pushed to the back of the pile of projects.
Isn't that interesting? I wonder what the lesson was in that one.
I think the lesson in that one, I'll be honest with you, I wasn't happy with it. I really wasn't. I wasn't happy with the artwork. It didn't feel luscious enough to me, for lack of a better word, for something called Angels of Abundance. And so I think I was never really super happy. I don't think Doreen was ever really super happy. And then the next thing you know, the artist pulled out of the project, and we were like, oh, well, I guess we should have just known all along.
Oh, really? Well, there's one more thing I'd like to talk about, and that's your angel numbers that you put in the book.
Yeah. Yeah, angel numbers it's a twist on traditional numerology. It's not traditional numerology, although I did include some traditional numerology information for the Major Arcana, but mixed into the angel number sections. But angel numbers is a take on numerology by Doreen Virtue that is meant to look at the messages that we get from angels through numbers. So, for example, if you get up in the morning at 4:44 a.m., and then the next thing you know is you're in your car and the license plate in front of you says 444, and then you get to the coffee shop and your latte costs $4.44, then you can start to go, wait, the angels are trying to give me a message.
Right.
And I am a big proponent of angel numbers because I truly, honestly believe it gives people who are very left-brained or very analytical and wanting to be in their spirituality but finding it difficult, a method for communicating with angels and the divine that feels natural to them. And so we included angel numbers in the book, the angel number for every card, as well as, I think it's been said, the astrology, and then why any particular archangel was attributed to a card. All of that's in there.
Well, that's what makes it so special, because they're not in the little book that comes with the cards.
No, none of that. That just wouldn't fit. There's a ton of information. The whole purpose of the book was that, there just isn't room in that little tiny booklet, for all of what we placed in the decks. So,
it's a fabulous book.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
So are you going to be traveling?
I actually leave on August 31st for Europe, and I get home on October 2nd.
Oh, I hope you like traveling.
Well, that whole quintuple Sagittarius thing, you'd think I would adore it. And I've kind of, I didn't like it the first year. This is my third year to be traveling and to go to Europe. And Hay House likes when they throw you over the other side of the pond for you to stay there, because it's not cheap to get you there. So, I've learned how to travel. I learned at the master's gown, if you will. She taught me how to travel, and so I've learned how, and so I don't mind it so much. And as most people know, Doreen is exhausted of traveling, and she's retiring. She's not going to be doing any more after this year. So
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, Doreen's retiring. So this is she and I's last hurrah through Europe, and we'll be popping over to Australia as well. Which is like the other side of the planet, right?
Yeah, really.
Yeah. So, but this is our last big hurrah of traveling together. So I'm a little misty-eyed about that. But that's okay. I'll be traveling next year, but I'll be traveling on my own.
Well, she's only retiring from traveling, nothing else?
She's retiring from traveling, so she'll still write books and create cards, and she's going to do classes via video, sort of like the Realm Reader class.
Yeah,
that she did. So she'll be doing classes like that, but she's definitely, rolling back what she's participating in. She's been doing this for 25 years. She deserves to.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
So.
And you've got an I Can Do It for this year, 1 or 2 left?
Yeah, I'll be in New York, and then I'll be in Pasadena. And then Hay House is significantly rolling back the number of I Can Do It's they're doing in 2015. There's only going to be 4. So I'll be in Denver and Orlando next year.
Will they be doing that more online?
Yes. Yeah, they'll be doing more of that whole online summit thing.
I love that.
Yeah, a lot of people do. But a lot of people also want to have that experience of being in a room with a bunch of other people. It's an amazing experience to be live as well. So.
Sure.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, this has been great, Radleigh. We appreciate your taking the time to be with us. And is there anything?
My pleasure. I love you guys.
Great. We love you too. Is there anything you'd like to leave our listeners with?
I would just say, if I was going to say anything, I would say believe. Believe that you are meant to have a joyful life. Believe that the universe wants you to be happy. Always, always, always follow your inner compass towards joy. And, make that your mantra in life. And you will not believe what a great difference it will make for you.
Oh, that sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
Wow.
We'll get to hear you on your show this afternoon because you have a show.
Oh, yes. I will be
right?
on my Hay House Radio show in 3 hours. It's at 2 o'clock Pacific on hayhouseradio.com, Magical Things with Radleigh Valentine. So come listen to me there, too.
And one of these days I'm going to call in and talk to you.
I wish you would. I would love that. Do that.
If I can get through.
Yeah, that's the challenge, isn't it?
I love your show.
Thank you.
Yeah, you get so excited and you're so kind with the clients, and it just warms my heart.
Well, thank you. I love doing radio and I love talking to people, so it's a real joy for me to do the show.
You always feel much better after we've listened to you, and
that's so
it kind
sweet.
it puts you in a better space, and you have a nice sense of humor, and you're down to earth. So it's just, and what's nice is with Hay House is if I can't make it, I listen to the archive. So
yeah,
in my car, and I feel so much better. So you do such a wonderful job with that show. I like in the beginning how you talk about, affirm something, take one subject, and it just makes people feel so much better.
Well, thank you. We're working our way through the tarot. Today's our last day in the Suit of Fire, so we'll be talking about the King of Fire, and then next week we'll be doing Ace of Water, so we'll be making a big shift in energy from the fire suit to the water suit.
Ooh,
and I love your laugh.
Oh, thank you. It's very sweet.
Well, thank you again, and oh wow, we hope to have you back again when some more decks come out, or anytime you want.
Absolutely, honey. Anytime you want. That's great.
You're sweet.
Thank you, Radleigh.
All right, my pleasure, dears.
Have a beautiful day.
You too.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, wasn't that fun?
Oh, Radleigh's energy he's got beautiful energy. Always has so many interesting things to talk about and say and share. And the book is just wonderful. And I think he was mentioning we can you can pre-order the cards that are coming out in a couple weeks, the Guardian Angel cards.
Yeah, I want to get them.
Yeah,
I think I'm going to own all of their cards.
Yeah, all of the decks. I'm really enjoying the book, reading through and looking at all the symbols and, enjoying the astrology that goes with it.
And learning so much. We think we know the cards, but then we read some in the book, and wow, we learn something else.
Right, because each artist brings something different to a deck.
Right. Oh, well, let's see. Next week we're having Renee Cummins on about creating your own deck.
Oh, yay.
That'll be fun.
Renee's in the chat room.
Yeah, hi, Renee. Yeah, she has You Predict on Tuesdays at 4 o'clock. I love that show.
Yeah, that's fun. You just never know. She's always got such great topics. Well, I'm excited to find out about the deck creation. That'll be a good show.
So, Maggie, where can people find you to get readings?
They can find me at MaggieMoonTarot.com, and also I'm on my YouTube channel, Maggie Moon Tarot, and I do the vibes every week. And I'm passionate about helping people explore all their possibilities and see how amazing they are and heal past wounds and gain confidence, living the life of their dreams and remembering we never walk alone. And I'm an intuitive and a coach, a reader, and I'm an energy worker. And some of my tools are tarot, numerology, astrology, Reiki. And I've taken the Certified Angel Card Reader class like you have, Jean, in the Realm Reader class. And I'm a 6th Century practitioner also. And I have a website called Harmony Light Reiki. And I work with you or your pet, and we can just bring the energy back into alignment and clear any blocks, just allowing the universal flow of love and light and healing. And all of my services, I'm available through phone, email, and Skype. And what about you, Jean?
Well, I've had angelsloveyou.com up for like 15 years. And I also built a new website called GeneMaurie.com because that's how everybody knows me on Facebook. So between the two of them, you can get astrology, tarot, destiny card readings. I'm an intuitive, and I'm also an EFT coach, and I can teach people how to tap to release some of their stress.
I love your new site.
Thank you. And I love your videos, too. Did you talk about your video channel?
Yeah, my YouTube channel, Maggie Moontrow. They're fun to do.
Yeah.
I'm learning astrology for the last year, so I'm teaching as I'm learning. That's a funny twist. And feng shui, so I do a little tarot, numerology, so I mix it up. I've been a numerologist for years, so it's fun learning some of the other disciplines.
Oh, and you're so good at it, too.
Thank you.
Oh, yes, we're both on Psychics at a Tune with Renee Cummins and Mary Nale.
Yes.
So that you can find us there, too.
Yeah, and that's the network we're on, the Tune Magazine Network here on Blog Talk.
Yeah, you've heard us on the radio, and now you get readings from us. I like the way Mary wrote that.
Yes.
Oh, Winnie wants to tell us that next week she has the Sacred Feminine on You Predict, which is just what came out when Radleigh was talking about the feminine taking more charge, helping us. So that'll be
I think we're coming back to that cycle again. We started out that way and coming on back around.
Well, thank everybody for coming and listening and joining us in the chat room, and thank you again to Radleigh, and you too, Maggie. Thank you for being my co-host.
Well, thank you,
I
Jean.
wouldn't do it without you.
We've got great energy together. I enjoy it.
So until next week, remember your angels love you now and forever, so just ask them for help. So have a good week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.